All right, welcome. It is just after 3, just a minute behind schedule, but we are live now. This is going to be a live interview with Barb McGowan. That she is a shining example of what 1 year of showing up, taking massive action, and staying consistent can really change everything. So if you're watching this live, make sure you're giving StreamYard permission. That way, if you have any questions, it's the little link above my face. Just click it, say give it permission, just in case you want to leave comments. You have questions for myself or Barb as we go through this interview. We're going to keep it nice and light and fresh, and just kind of drop some value. And for anybody that's tuning in, I hope you enjoy. Make sure you're dropping hashtag live. Make sure you're dropping that hashtag replay for watching the replay. I'm super excited about it. So let's dive a little bit deeper, just give you a little bit of backstory, and then I'll let Barb come on and tell you everything that we're going to be sharing with you today. So she started about a little over a year ago, started making money online from a teaching career, and then quickly started taking action, started finding success with not only affiliate marketing, but then going on to launching her own coaching business. So that is just a brief overview of her little bit of her backstory. But there's nothing better than letting it come from the horse's mouth. So let's bring Barb on, and then we'll drop some value and have a little fun. Hey, what's up, Barb? How you doing today?
Hey, Thad. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you first and foremost. Thanks for hopping on this interview. I'm really glad that I got to bring you on as the first interview of this whole 2022 launch, that I'm going to be doing more interviews for the group. I think you are a great example for everybody in this group who are, maybe either just getting started, scared to take that plunge, or maybe starting and not really seeing the results and just kind of like dabbling. So I'm first off, let's dive a little bit into your backstory. First and foremost, what was your motivation to even getting started with trying to do affiliate marketing, starting your own online business?
Oh, I love that question. I love that topic in general. So just as some backstory, probably maybe a little over a year ago, maybe November of 2020, I just started, like I was getting called back to the office, still mid-pandemic. And my boss was trying to put more and more responsibility on me. We had to lay off like 95% of the people that we worked with just due to COVID. And he was nearing retirement and wanting to make me like the executive director of the nonprofit, the education nonprofit that I worked for. And like the things that I love is like teaching, coaching, mentoring, and being in the classroom, like being with kids and seeing that like light bulb come on for them where they were working through something, building a project and thought they couldn't do it. And I would ask them questions like, well, how do you think you can make it work? Or, just basically cultivating self-efficacy in them. And that was the thing I loved, is like watching that self-confidence build. And so then my job became very much not teaching and not being in the classroom, but doing administrative stuff, and seeing that was kind of the path that was being laid out for me. And I didn't have a lot of choice around that. I started to panic, honestly, and really started to think about times in the past where I've been in that situation, because I absolutely have been in that situation with past employers, and knowing that I could bury my head in the sand and hope that feeling of dread and panic and I don't want to do this would go away. And I knew that was not going to happen. And I knew I needed to take some kind of action and try to find a way to make money online. And I knew it had to be online because online business is where it's at, number one. But it's like with an online business, you can build it up over time and work on it in your own time. It's not like a 9-to-5 where you're punching in and out and answering to some boss and all of that. And so like any good millennial, I started searching on YouTube. I didn't even have TikTok at this point, but I started looking on YouTube for ways to make money online. I stumbled across this YouTuber. He was, talking about all kinds of like different side hustles and like make $100 per day with Google Maps kind of content. And I was kind of evaluating all the different videos that he was putting out, like, I could do that, but I could kind of see what the roadblocks would be for each of those like business models, if you want to call them that. And every time that he was making these videos, he would talk about like his number one recommendation for, learning to make money online. And so, after watching 30 hours of his videos, I decided to click on this link and see where it took me. And it was the 15-day challenge, the legendary marketer training. And, and something to take a step back, something that like really resonated with me about his story is, like he's a recovering heroin addict. And so, and I'm in recovery myself. And so I saw a lot of myself in him. And that's kind of really what kicked off like my understanding of the importance of storytelling and sharing your personal brand through your content, because that allows your audience to connect with you and know, like, and trust you.
Absolutely.
And so I clicked that link. I went through the 15-day challenge. I immediately saw the value in the business model of affiliate marketing and realized that if he can do it, if he can make a full-time income, if he can make 6 figures, I can too. Like, that was my thought process. This was no special magical guy with all this experience. Like, he was just somebody who started doing it and learned as he went and iterated. And I was like, I can absolutely do that. And if this guy who is in recovery and had this past can do it, so can I. And so I just kind of dove right in and, invested in the blueprints. And I think we were talking about this right before we came on, but I think that I started the 15-day challenge January 15th of this past year, 2021. And then I dove into the blueprints, started creating content on TikTok February 8th. That was the first TikTok video I ever made. And the rest is, kind of history. Just was really consistent with making TikTok videos every single day, at least 3 a day between the time I first started. And honestly, between then and September 7th, which is when I got married of this past year. And then I took some time off, but was just in there making videos every day with the belief, truly had the belief that this was going to be my ticket out of my 9-to-5. It wasn't, is this going to work? It was, how am I going to make this work? And having that ultimate like belief in the process and just being consistent was like so powerful for me.
Well, then that's really what it's all about is believing that you're going to make it work. Like that you had a bigger vision, you had a bigger goal than what you were stuck at. Like you said, you were shifting and they're putting more responsibilities, and you're kind of like almost like your future of your job was completely out of your control. So your destiny was being decided by someone else, rather than yourself. And I love the way you put that. Like, it's not if this can work, it's how can I make this work? That's a beautiful sentiment. So real quick, I know you said you're digesting all these different YouTube videos and spending all this time watching all this content. Was this your first attempt at making money online? Like, did you dabble in anything else before affiliate marketing, or was it like, oh my God, I just see it, this like lights went off and you just went right at it?
It was a little bit of both, actually. So it's funny. Previous to this, I was kind of dabbling in like web design, and I would do like freelance web design. And I would charge, like, I'd make $1,000 here and there for, 16 hours worth of work. So nothing crazy, but, and it's funny. I actually, one of the things that I love is designing t-shirts. Like, you'll always see me wearing some kind of weird or off the wall t-shirt, and those are my creations, and so I had built this full like e-commerce store for t-shirts and designed all these shirts, connected it to Printify and all this stuff. But then I was stuck. I was like, okay, now how do I get people to my store? And so I just kind of gave up on that, And it's funny because affiliate marketing is all about driving traffic to an offer. And that was like the one piece that I was missing. So it's ironic that was like the direction that I went in. But really, this was kind of my first serious foray into making money online and deciding like, this is the path that I'm going to take, and making that commitment to it versus being kind of wishy-washy or just, taking things as they came or going halfway and then stopping like I did with that t-shirt store.
I gotcha. Now, real quick, I have to ask now, since you got started with affiliate marketing, has that benefited your t-shirt store any? Have you been able to, now that you've kind of unlocked this so-called secret, Have you kind of, is it benefited that little e-commerce store that you did, like the marketing side of it all?
Um, I mean, I have the knowledge to make it benefit that store, but at this point, that's kind of on the back burner. Like, if I
Okay.
wanted to like be promoting that, I would get on TikTok, start making content, and be showcasing the products that I create, and just make interesting content for the people that are in my target audience.
I got you.
But yeah, I haven't pursued it beyond that. I just it's not super high on my priority list at this point.
No, I understand. I just wondered if maybe all this newfound information might have sparked some other income streams for you that you maybe had let die off. But okay. So did you said you got started with Legendary? You dove right in, already immediately started seeing the blueprints. And I know I can speak for myself. Like that's also how I got started. Was it one of those things where like when you start thinking about a red car, now you see a red car everywhere?
Yeah.
Like was it like that for you? Because I know it was like that for me. So when you after you dove into it, was one of those things like oh my God, now I see it everywhere I look online.
Yeah, I feel like it was I obviously getting on TikTok and being exposed to everyone and their mom that was on TikTok promoting Legendary, but also just promoting something in general. Like I definitely did see that and kind of connect the dots between, oh, they're making this kind of content. And then, checking out their bio and seeing, oh, that's because they're promoting this in this niche. Um, yeah, it definitely started connecting the dots for me. And even just out in the real world, like I love using like Target as an example because I'm obsessed with Target, but going into a Target and seeing like the sign outside of like the optometry department that says, oh yeah, free glasses cleaning and adjustment, knowing that's like a lead magnet and they're just trying to get you in the door so that they can, book you for an appointment in 6 months to get your eyes checked and that kind of a thing. But yeah, definitely
Absolutely.
saw many a red car after that.
Yeah, don't think of an elephant. Now all you see is an elephant.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, since there really is no such thing as overnight success, like what would you say, like what kind of unfold your timeline of, over this past year of how everything's kind of laid its way out? I know you said you started making TikToks at the beginning of February, so we're not even at the 1 year anniversary from you actually making content. And those who out there, are scared to do it, this might be a great time for you to really focus in because this is probably going to be a massive value drop because content is what really drives your business online, especially from an affiliate marketing side or really on any online business is creating content, building that personal brand. So kind of unfold, I guess, your timeline from that first time you hit post to where you started to actually kind of get like almost everything started to make sense.
Dude, I love that question. So it's funny, there's so much similarity between like going to AA and like or any 12-step program and online business. And one of those things that's similar is like in AA, you go and you have people with like 20 years of sobriety and they're telling you do this, do this, do this. And you just have to trust because your best thinking got you to this point. You have to trust these people that know what they're talking about because they have way more experience than you. You just got to listen to what they say, take those suggestions and then implement them, and have that trust. And that's like a huge thing that I know a lot of people struggle with is like, well, when will I start to see results? And I know for me, when I was first starting out, I was just like, okay, well, I'm trusting what these people that know way more than me are telling me. And I'm just going to like keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it's funny, that same YouTuber that introduced me to Legendary, I found him on TikTok. And I remember I was kind of funnel hacking him back before I knew what funnel hacking was. And I saw a piece of content that he had created. And it was like promoting some email marketing tool or something like that. And then I clicked the link or I followed the link that he had a bit.ly link in his TikTok video. So I like typed that in and I realized, oh my gosh, it's an affiliate link. And he's creating content and then he's like showing how it works and how it can benefit the person watching his content. And then that takes them to an affiliate product. And if they choose to make a purchase, then he earns that commission. And he's like, it just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point I was super new. It was like the first week that I was creating content. And so I was like, I want to kind of do an experiment, like always iterating and always trying to learn and implement as I went. But I found a ClickBank product. ClickBank is an affiliate marketplace, if y'all don't know, where basically you can browse different affiliate products, pick one you want. And then what I ended up finding was like a work from home, like social media jobs kind of product. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try to put all the pieces together. So I built my own funnel, which was garbage. But it just proves that like garbage funnels can convert,
Absolutely.
But I built the funnel, connected everything. And then I made one 30-second TikTok video just talking about, hey, I found this social media jobs thing and yada, yada. And I think it was within a week, I think within 6 days or something like that, I earned a commission from that product. And I remember logging into ClickBank and seeing that I had earned a commission, and it was like $18, so nothing crazy, but just like my mind exploded. And I think I took so much away from that first commission. Like, number one, wow, my audience listens to me and trusts me enough to like pull out their wallet and make a purchase. And that felt really like important and sacred to me. Number two, realizing that the business model of affiliate marketing does work, and like creating content that people want to watch and then recommending a product or promoting something that is in line with that content and your audience, that was how it all worked, and then number three, just like my own self-efficacy and self-confidence building, because nobody had given me this funnel. I didn't import it from Legendary Marketer or whoever. I built it myself using the knowledge and skills that I had learned through the 15-day challenge. Like day 3 of the challenge, I went right back and I was like, okay, building my funnel, I'm keeping it congruent with like the sales page for this product. And that was just like so empowering. And I still remember the thought process of creating a TikTok after I learned that I had made my first commission. And it was like, I was just like singing and dancing basically, because I was so excited. But yeah, that's kind of how that played out. That was a really long-winded way to tell like a 1 week period of time. But from there, it kind of, as my understanding of affiliate marketing grew, and understanding of like how to create better content, that one commission turned into, I started getting, commissions because I was promoting Legendary Marketer. I started getting, $2.80 commissions from Legendary people going through the 15-day challenge. And then I remember earning my first high ticket commission. It was, I think like a month in, something like that. But I was being forced to work by my 9 to 5 on my day off for a board meeting. And I happened to log in, check my Legendary Marketer, commissions prior to that stupid board meeting. And I remember I was over at my sister's and I was on the call with all the board of directors, and I saw it and I was just like, I had to sit there for 2 hours on this call that I no longer cared about at all, and just waiting to celebrate, and it was, I think at that point, I really realized like, okay, this is real. Like I could build this and quit my job. Like this would happen sooner rather than later. Because when I first started creating content, I was like, all right, my goal is to quit my job within a year. I think that's like a reasonable like goal for me to have. And it kind of started clicking for me that maybe it can happen a lot sooner than that, which ended up being the case.
So your first, just to kind of recap. So your first commission, wasn't like promoting, a Legendary. It was actually promoting a social media, like ClickBank product.
Yeah.
So, well, that's actually pretty awesome, because I feel like, especially on TikTok, you get so many, all these naysayers that are like, oh, it's just promoting courses and so on and so forth. When in actuality, it's such a widespread, wide open business that really anything you want to promote, you can promote and actually make a income from.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's pretty cool. So, you went on, you actually immediately started taking action, built out that funnel all by yourself, none of those copy and paste deals.
Yeah.
You landed that first commission, and that was actually something I wanted to ask you. I wanted to because I feel like that first commission is like so big. Even whether it's $2, it's $18, it's whatever, like that first commission. So I guess what I want to do is really dive in a little bit more about that, like that feeling that you had. Was it a sense of accomplishment? Was it a sense of relief? Would you mind going a little deeper into that?
Oh yeah, dude. I remember it like it was yesterday. it was definitely a sense of just like validation, that like this business model is real. Like
Mhm.
it kind of like reinforced to me that like I was capable of putting the dots together, connecting things outside of just being told what to do. But I was able to actually like come up with my own ideas and thought processes, and just basically something that I think that is really important for, especially for new people, is to understand that you never arrive. Like you're
Mhm.
never done. It's a constant like process of learning and iterating, and like your content will either get a lot of views, a lot of engagement, or not. And it doesn't mean you suck or you're stupid or you should quit if your content doesn't do well. It means your market's not into that. Like your audience wants to see something different. And it could be any number of things relating to your content. It could be the hook, could be the editing, could be a bunch of stuff. But I think what I kind of learned from that is, aside from the fact that, hey, I'm actually like like learning how to be a marketer basically, and not just pretending to be a marketer, which it's really the same thing. But that iterating process, like that feedback loop of you put out content, you get feedback from your market, you make changes, and then you put out a new piece of content, and like the cycle continues and it never stops. And that's how you get better and create better content that will drive more traffic to the offer that you're promoting and earn you more money. It's not just like, okay, well, I put out 3 TikToks today, where's my paycheck? Like it's not
Right.
that at all. You are 100% responsible for the results that you get. And so if you're not getting the results that you want, look at what you're doing or what you're not doing, and starting to build context around, how do you know if you're doing things right, or how do you not know? And like really being able to investigate that and then create something different to try to get a different result.
Absolutely. I love that because I mean, you hit the nail on the head. When it comes to content creation, so many people just think it's just, you just do it and you do it. Oh, well, I did it. Like, why am I not getting anything? Well, because you're not listening to the market. You're not listening to the audience that it's reaching. If the views are down, look and, tweak something, change something. Don't just keep trying to do the same thing, expecting a different result. I mean, that's literally the definition of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not and no matter what you get sold on this platform or by this person or that person, it's not a 9 to 5 job. You don't just, okay, well, I clocked in, I did my 3 for the day. Where's my paycheck?
Yeah.
It's a business and it's something you're building. And I think that what you said when you talked about that first commission and you building that funnel, you landing that commission, like I think that's a sense of you actually, and now it's your business.
Yeah.
It's yours. You get paid for the results you either do or don't do. So yeah, I think that's a great message. So yeah, we talked about this. So let me ask you this. So after you got that first high ticket, now it's like, oh shit, like this is really kicking off.
Yeah.
Was there a big like shift or breakthrough that kind of launched it into a much bigger success that actually allowed you to actually quit your job? And how long did you actually, how early did you find success with that goal of quitting your job?
Yeah. I remember making it. I feel like my life is measured in like TikToks. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that because I made a TikTok about it. But I think it was like a couple, maybe like my third, let's see. So I started making content in February. So March, maybe like April-ish. I think that I had kind of hit like a milestone in terms of like the income and where it eclipsed what I was making at 9 to 5. And I remember making a TikTok where I was like, realizing that my 9 to 5 income was less than my side hustle income, and wondering, should I go back to work? And that's really where things started to take off for my online business, and where I found myself growing increasingly bitter and resentful about going to this 9 to 5 job, which was taking up this much time, but giving me
Mhm.
this much income, and my online business taking up this much time and giving me this much income. Um, but yeah, it was probably like in the third month. But and I guess between that time and when I decided, okay, Like, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to give my notice. That was like May 10th, I want to say. Or was it May? Maybe it was June. I think it was June, but I had decided at the end of May because, as a little bit of additional context, I was going back and forth and like having people telling me like, because let me take a step back. I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to double my income with my online business and then I'll quit. Like, I wanted that extra security, that extra safety. But what people that I really trusted kept pointing out to me was, you need to quit first and then you'll scale your business to double what you're making now. And I found that to be absolutely true. And it really changed my mindset about like taking a leap of faith, in a calculated way, like not just being like, oh, I had a good month, I'm going to quit my job, but having those consistent months and really being willing to take that calculated risk, and see the potential of, I can scale my business if I have an extra 50 hours a week to focus on it and not be consumed mentally and physically with this stupid job. But at the end of May, actually, my niece, my sister's daughter, was diagnosed with leukemia. And so a lot of things kind of culminated at that point of what's really important to me, like, is it having this stable job, or is it the ability to take a risk and be able to spend time, like spend physical time with my family and be there for them with whatever they need. And also be able to like provide for them financially. I don't want to just be able to send money, but never be there. Like, that's very much my dad when I was growing up vibe. And so I didn't want to like repeat that pattern.
Right.
And so that was really like the straw that broke the camel's back. So that
Well, I don't know if I froze or she froze. So let's see. I think she froze. Okay. All right. Well, we lost Barb, and that's okay. Maybe she can hop back on here in a second. Yeah. So, while we wait for see if she can reconnect with her internet, technology, it's like that sometimes. But yeah. Anyways, and so we'll wait for her. And I'll just kind of keep things light and keep it flowing. She brings up so many good points, and where she kind of left off was talking about her family, what was important, that time freedom, not only to supply for the people that she loves, but also to be there, because just checks to your family and just paying bills, while that's great to provide, most people want connections, and they want that person that they love around. And I feel like that's such a powerful message that, she kind of got cut off and froze on, was that, while the benefits of starting your own business can be, so good on the monetary side, what it can bring you from a time freedom, that quality of life, everything else side is so much more valuable. And when you think about it and you look into the eyes and the loved ones of the ones you live with, your other family members, we got Barb back, but I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna let her go on. Hey Barb, I know technology's a mofo sometimes, but we kind of left off talking about the how important family and being there, and not only being there from a monetary side, but also like time being in that person's life. So if you want to carry on, feel free.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was like, I think my cat's unplugged my router, but I think it was just intermittent issues. So, but yeah, I mean, and this, I think, like, I've always kind of said that like entrepreneurship and online business is very much like an accelerated form of therapy, where you just got to get through your stuff because your business is hinging on that success. And I think that was like, I kind of alluded to the fact that, like, growing up, my dad was always off taking bigger and better jobs so he could provide for us. But yet,
Right.
ironically, he didn't. But like really having that conscious priority of my family is the most important thing for me, and what felt safe or secure. And I think that's what kept me at that job, even though my online business was like really cranking, was the idea that that was somehow safe and secure.
Right.
And so like when all that stuff went down with my niece, it was really like, okay, like this is your chance to like take a step outside of your comfort zone and like do the thing that is scary, but also the growth oriented thing. So that's what I mean when I say like it's very much like accelerated therapy. So I was like, you know what? This is kind of the unknown. This is kind of scary, but it's not even just like about me anymore and what I want and what I need. It's about taking care of my family and, being able to physically be there with them and financially be there with them.
Well, that's awesome. I feel like that's and that's kind of what I was chatting about while we waited for the connection to reconnect. But is that it is so super important, from starting your own business and doing all this is so great. And everyone always talks about all the money you can make and the commissions and everything else. But the non-monetary side of it is that exactly what you're talking about, being there and spending that time, that precious time that we are all limited on with the ones you love, the ones you care about, and being there for them far outweighs all the monetary returns that you could bring. And I think that's a great message as well, is that, taking that chance, getting out of your comfort zone is what really can push you personally and make you grow into a person that you may not even thought was possible before.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And just like to interject really quickly, it's like, if you are new to affiliate marketing and you haven't started, or you're just starting and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't think I'm capable. You're not at this point. Like the version of you where you sit right now is still scared and lacks confidence and lacks the organizational skills and all that. Just like when you first go to kindergarten, you don't know how to tie your shoes. You don't know how to write.
Right.
But what you will experience over time, if you keep showing up to kindergarten every single day, is by the end of the school year, you can tie your shoes, you could form a sentence, you can do all this kind of stuff that you couldn't do at the beginning. So you have to remember that it's like, and I know it sounds cheesy, but it's absolutely a journey of like self-discovery and learning and growth and stepping into that better version of you that you maybe didn't even realize was possible. And that's the version of you that's worthy of being paid, 6 figures, and is worthy of this time freedom that you've been seeking. Like, you have to become a better version of yourself, a better marketer and a better business person, sure. But you also have to work on like the consistency and the confidence and all the other kind of figure, or like the skills that make you like that 6-figure authority. Like that, nobody just hands that to you. You don't get the result without becoming that person first. And I think that's like so critical to hear if you're new or if you're struggling. Like, you're not just going to either get the result or not get it. It's a journey of becoming better, learning and iterating yourself to get to that point.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Compounding the little things on little things on little things, and growing and stepping outside of it. And the more and more you step out of that comfort zone, the more and more you learn of the person you can become. And exactly what you said, those things, you're not going to find that in some video trainings. You've got to want to be that person and want to grow into that person. Because no amount of video training, no matter of coaching is going to change that in you. You have to make that decision for yourself. And anybody watching this on the live, on the replay, you are worthy of becoming that person. Sorry to get off on a tangent, but you are more than worthy. You are more than capable, and you are more deserving to become that person. You just have to want it for you in order for you to make it happen. I love that message. I absolutely love that message. So now, to get back onto the whole timeline of this this super crazy year that you've been experiencing from starting your very first TikTok. Let's go back to that first TikTok real quick.
Oh, I love it.
For what was what was because I've been following your content for a while, so I've actually it's been really cool to see the progression. But let's go back to that first one because I get into a lot of conversations with people who are thinking about doing it, super scared to be on video. What was it like posting that first TikTok versus the one you posted today, or if
Yeah.
you've or the one you posted yesterday?
Yeah.
Like what would you say would be the big shift?
Oh my God, so much. Like, I love talking about like your first videos. Like, I feel like so many people are so concerned with like having a clickable link in your bio, as if by virtue of having a clickable link that people are just going to buy from you because that link is there and it exists. No, absolutely not. You can have a link on day one and not make any sales if your content is garbage. And by is garbage, I mean you're not actually connecting in a meaningful way with your audience and sharing who you are, like what you're about, why they should care, why they should follow you versus anybody else out there who's all promoting the same thing.
Right.
And so my first, again, going back to like the taking the suggestions of people that knew more than me, they were all like, get on TikTok. And it's funny because the way I was introduced to Legendary, I was like, I'm going to become a YouTuber. Like I'm going to be a famous YouTuber. But everyone was like saying, get on TikTok. I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to what they're saying. And so my first video, I didn't know what to talk about. I had no context and I just kind of looked around at like other creators and people I had seen on Wake Up Legendary. And I was like Callie Vernon, I love her. But really I was like looking at her content and she was just like telling her story. And, and so that's how I kind of crafted my first video. I had like a little like bullet points on my laptop and then I had my phone. I was in this very room back when it was my bedroom and not my office. And the lighting was terrible. I didn't have a trending sound. I didn't put captions, like everything technical that you're supposed to do, I didn't do. And I was really I did it all in one take. And I was just kind of like, hey, welcome to my TikTok, which is such a boomer thing. Like, but yeah, welcome to my TikTok. If you're watching this, it's probably because you are just as sick as I am about the whole notion of, working a 9-to-5 job being the only way or even like the best way to make money. And that's absolutely BS. And it's like, I'm so sick of that notion that we have to work for 40 years of our lives for someone else and then hope we live to retirement. And I'm sick of that. I'm done with that. And I'm pursuing something different. So if you are in that same, like that, you're feeling the same way, like you're in the right place, follow me and let's like take this journey together. At no point was I like, hey, DM me if you want this link so I could have you buy this thing. Like that wasn't it. Well, before I get into the second video that I made, I was so nervous. I was sweating. Like I had to reshoot it like 10 times because I wasn't happy with it. And then eventually I was like, all right, well, I'm probably going to get eviscerated in my comments by people saying you're stupid. Nobody cares. Like, who are you? All that negative self-talk that's really just ourselves being afraid and has no bearing on reality. But I hit post and then I posted in the Legendary Marketer Facebook group, like, oh my God, I just posted my first TikTok. It was like a high. Like I was just so proud of myself for pushing through that fear and like doing something that I was afraid of, but knowing that it was the thing I needed to do to grow. And then my second TikTok, I went for a walk around the block. I was like, oh, look at me. I'm creating content outside. And I just kind of told more about my story. Like, just like what I was telling you, like the pandemic changed the scope of my job and I'm not happy anymore. And so this is like the route that I'm going. And I just kept making content, telling my story. Had a lot of misses, obviously, like a lot of content that was like just didn't feel congruent with who I was but really followed those feelings of, okay, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel like me. This feels more like me. And so really pursuing the pieces of content that I felt were valuable in that context. And just, again, kept iterating and improving. And it's funny because I look back on my early content where I was just like a talking head and I was just like, so guys, so I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, just like a terrible hook, like who would bless the people that watched my early content? But it's like, getting to the point of realizing, oh, okay, I can edit. Like I can chop this up into clips and make it more palatable for people who are viewing this. But yeah, like the early content, you guys, I just feel so passionate about the content that people create when they're first starting. Make it about connecting with your audience. If you take nothing else away from this, like take that away, like connect with your audience, let them see who you are. Like
Absolutely.
if they feel, it's like a used car salesman. Like if you're like, hey guys, I'm here to tell you about the 15-day challenge, go ahead and buy it. DM me, comment. Like it's not as impactful as you think. You're not going to get sales from trying to bash people over the head with this product that you don't even know is a good fit for them. They don't even know you. It's like going on a date with someone. They're like, can I have your car? What? Like, it's clear that that creeper on the date just wants something from you instead of like doing the normal thing of like self-disclosing, sharing information, like sharing something vulnerable, soliciting what you think about it. You know what I mean? Like that community building.
Right.
That's so much more important. So much more important. And
Absolutely.
the other thing I want to add is like, for those people who are like, well, how can I promote something when I'm not a 6-figure earner or I'm not an expert? That's not the point. Like, just like I started at zero, just like you started at zero, Thad, like you show your starting place and then you show like the trajectory that you take as you're learning and growing. And that's the thing that makes you real and makes you knowable and likable and trustable. And that's so much more compelling than copycatting content from other people that you think is going to go viral, but won't because your audience is completely different. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more because that's you touched on a lot of good points that it took even me a while to figure out. The community building, the copycatting, because everyone's audience is going to be different. They're going to resonate with different things, and you obviously want, and being unapologetically you.
Mm-hmm.
What you've made a really, really good statement that I think it's a great little bomb that was snuck in there was actually being you is what's going to attract people who are like you, that trust you, that like you.
There you go.
Like a flawless motion. But in realizing that if it doesn't feel right, then don't keep doing it,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like so many people get caught up, oh, this is what I was told to do. Well, being you is what's going to attract your actual audience, the people that are loyal to, the people that know, like, and trust you. And being just a shell or a fake of yourself is only going to set you up for failure later down the road, because the moment you start to expose who you really are, they're going to be like, well, who the hell is this person?
We didn't sign up for this. Yeah.
Right. Who the hell is this person?
Yeah. Well,
and that's a huge value bomb just snuck in there in the middle of all that stuff, is being you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that, and the community building, I couldn't agree with that more. And that's something that I figured out later. And, and I won't lie, like when I first started, I made the same rookie mistakes. I was so concerned about that link in the bio, and you become this used car salesman, just like you said, rather than being a marketer, being you, building your brand. Because if you're just saying, oh, here's this 15-day thing, here's this 3-day thing, here's this other thing, all you are is a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
You're the AT&T guy, or and hanging out in Sam's Club or the Costco, saying, hey, let me talk to you about AT&T.
Yeah. Well, and I was just thinking of this analogy, but it's like you watch TV for the show, for the story. You don't watch TV for the ads, with the exception of maybe watching the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, even then, even in the Super Bowl ads, it's like they're telling a story, and that's what makes them compelling ads. And but it's like nobody comes to TikTok to buy something. Yes, they may end up buying something, but that's not why they're there. They're not there. People scroll past the ads. Like as soon as they see sponsored, they're like, no.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're not telling your story and you're not like connecting your story back to your audience, like you're doing yourself a disservice and the people who are out there waiting to connect to you, your tribe of people who are out there and you just haven't found them yet.
Absolutely. And yeah, and you're 100% right. People don't come to TikTok to buy something. They want to connect, they want to escape, they want to be a little entertained. And you know what? If you can capture those emotions that they're experiencing, then yeah, the likelihood of you possibly making a sale is much more higher than saying, "Hey, buy this thing," because you're right. The sponsored ones scroll right past.
Yeah.
But I won't lie, I've bought numerous things
Oh
off
yeah.
TikTok, from shower heads to I've got a flat iron grill that I bought from a guy that I was like, oh my God, like I love the food he's cooking. And, oh, they sell that thing you're cooking on? Oh, I'm gonna go buy that thing. And I did, and I absolutely love it. Yeah. Actually, they have an affiliate program and I made a commission by promoting it myself. So
Hey, look at that.
yeah. To get back on the whole path of this big magical year that's kind of like really changed everything for you. So you're finding success with affiliate marketing. You're starting to rack in some high tickets. You're starting to build a community because and I'll have her drop her a link at the end of this. But Barb's got a super big Facebook group as well. Just absolutely killing it over there and providing tons of value as well. So if you're watching this and you want to find out more about her, I'll have her drop it at the end. But what would you say, that was the moment where you said, okay, now it's time to transition into something like coaching, or like evolve your business outside of just affiliate marketing?
Totally. And I feel like a lot of affiliate marketers kind of like take this journey because you are developing all these different skills that are components of affiliate marketing. And then you realize, or at least I realized, like, and again, going back to like teaching and mentoring and coaching being like my bread and butter, like that's like my jam. But I got to a point of feeling like, wow, I've learned so much, and like really looking back at what I was able to accomplish. And this kind of happened after I had left my 9 to 5, but starting to think like, I kind of feel like I'm like made for more than just promoting other businesses' products, kind of thinking more about like my life's purpose and the impact that I could have on other people rather than not like it's insignificant, but how I can have like a more direct impact on people utilizing the skill sets that I had developed and also my pre-existing skills and experiences and expertise and all that. And so it was just it's funny how when you're taking action and like really moving quickly in your business, I think a lot of things kind of fall into place, or serendipitous events happen. But a serendipitous event kind of happened. And like I was invited to like kind of work with a couple mentors of mine that I'm still working with to like bring a coaching offer to market. And that was like a whirlwind in and of itself, because that was a whole new set of skills to learn how to put together an offer and how to bring it to market, how to iterate that offer to make it as relevant and helpful and results oriented for my target audience and my clients. And then again, working and doing that for several months, getting to a point of, okay, so now I have this kind of proven offer. How can I scale it up? How can I reach more people? How can I impact more people? And also with the understanding that like the original coaching offer that I had created, I was like, this is not the offer I want to scale. Like, this is not the thing that like I want to be doing long term. And so I don't want to like give anything else away right now, but so I kind of iterated that offer and created something that was way more like near and dear to my heart and more personal for me. And so that's the offer that I'm going to be scaling and turning into like a digital product. But it's just, again, it's not like, oh, this offer failed or this offer was stupid and I'm a bad marketer and I should just drop out and go back to a 9 to 5. It's not that at all. It's just like a series of learning and again, iterating and figuring out, like following your gut and following your feelings. Like, oh, I feel good about this. Like I'm excited, I'm scared, I'm nervous, but this is like the growth path for me versus the safe, even within entrepreneurship, like the safe path, which is just kind of boring and monotonous after a while. I really do believe that like continuing to push yourself is going to always yield great things. And so even if you're not the kind of person where you're comfortable with being uncomfortable, you can develop that as a skill. You absolutely can. Because I used to be the person where I'm like, I don't want to change. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to rock the boat. I just want to stay in my little bubble and be afraid of everything and avoid everything. That was me, like 100% 5 years ago. And now I realize, okay, well, it's the thing that is uncomfortable that I maybe don't really feel like doing, just like going to the gym, just like running. You know, I don't feel like running. I want to watch my 600-pound life and talk smack, you know, but it's like, okay, I'm going to put on my running attire and my running shoes and just like taking those baby steps towards doing the thing that is slightly uncomfortable, but ultimately is going to keep me in shape, or like balance out the health, wealth, and relationships in my own life. But yeah, whatever the thing is that feels scary or uncomfortable, pursue that.
I love it. I love it. Just keep pushing forward, keep evolving, because what you're doing right now, you know, it's never too late to evolve that into something bigger. And I love that. And I really resonate with the whole path that you took on. You know, I was never in the training or the teaching career, but I was always that person at every blue collar job that I was having, you know, wanting to, you know, learn everything that I possibly could, absorb everything, and then help other people find the easiest, best, most successful path for themselves within the business. And I guess that's why I am also making that same trying to transition into more of a coaching role rather than just, you know, a promoting marketing role.
Yeah.
And that in itself is an exciting journey, because now, you know, you get to use the skills that you've already built, and now you're actually creating something that you own 100%, you know, without relying on someone else to continue to have to pay you a portion of for what the work you're doing. So that's awesome. I love that message. So the biggest question I think that I have, you know, as we almost hit the hour mark, is, what would you say is the biggest shift for anybody that might be on the fence, struggling, or, you know, just thinking, this really can't work? Would you say it's like, you know, I know I'm about to ask the question. Would you say it's mindset, or would you say it's like, you know, would you say it's like getting off the fence and stop being scared to possibly invest in the future you want? What would you say would be the biggest like aha moment takeaway from your entire journey?
Oh man, I love this question too. I feel like saying like mindset is definitely the answer, but when you really dig into what's the thing that stops people from taking that action, making that investment, and like like taking that leap of faith and burning the ships, like cutting off all other sources of retreat and being like, I'm fully committed to this, is they don't know if they can do it.
Right.
Period. Like if we knew, of course we're gonna have success, we would all do it. Like it would make sense. Like it makes sense. Oh yeah, work a couple hours a day and make this much, or work this job that I hate and make less. Like it's a no duh kind of a thing. And it's like, because people don't have that guarantee, it's not like a set paycheck every week or every 2 weeks, whatever. And it's all dependent on the results that you produce, and the effort you put in is part of that. But it's like, I think that people, because we don't have that guarantee, but what that really means is like, I don't know if I'm capable of doing it. That's the thing that stops people. It's like that TikTok video that was going around for a while. If you could invest $5,000 and never have to go back to your 9-to-5, would you? Of course. Don't even get me started. But it's like, of course you would, but that's not guaranteed. And that's the thing. Like they just don't know that they're capable. And the truth is that mindset, that like disbelief, or the failure to buy in to your 100% commitment, 100% success, is ironically the thing that will prevent you from achieving that. So in other words, like, I think looking back at my own journey, and the thing that if I can impart I think I said this earlier, but I guess the second thing that's really important is like, I'm not magical. That guy, Thomas, the YouTuber that I follow, that he introduced me, he's not magical. Like, if anything, it just shows that people who've been through some hard crap can like push through like difficulty and have success. But that's it. Think of a time that you've pushed through something hard and you had success, or you're still here, you're still alive, you know?
Right.
But it's like, if you are willing to jump in with absolute certainty that you can do this and you will make this work, then you will. It's as simple as that. But it's when you allow that self-doubt and that, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Like, think of it this way. Would you rather watch someone's content who their first video or their first day of making content was, I'm sick of my current situation. I'm making changes because I'm going to leave my job in a year, period. And like, whether you believe I can or you believe I can't, I don't care. Like, I'm here doing me and I'm going to make this work. Would you rather watch that person's content, or would you rather watch somebody's content where they're like, I really don't like my job, but I'm trying this to see if it can work. I don't know if it can. My family doesn't think it can, but I think maybe it can't. Like, whose content would you rather watch? You'd rather watch the person who's like fully committed. They're like all in, they're putting their heart and soul into this. There's this chick on Instagram, Instant Loss. It's like Brittany Williams. She has like 170 something thousand followers, has been posting for a couple years, but she started at 0. And it's like her weight loss journey. Now she's has like best-selling cookbooks and is like, you know, all kinds of a big deal. When she first started posting content, it wasn't when she was all slim and all this stuff. She was broken. Like, she was broken. She was unhappy with her life, but she was fed up and she wanted to make a change, and she was committed to that change. And so over the course of a couple of years, she lost 125 pounds, had, you know, all this success because she had a vision for what she wanted. And then she went from here to there and documented the process. It's not because she was some magical person that had some innate skill. No, she just showed up every day consistently, was real and vulnerable, and had a vision for where she wanted to go with her life. And that's it.
That's it. I love that. That is a great message, because I get into a lot of conversations, and you know, the first thing people think is that I have to have XYZ results in order for anyone to take me serious. No, because half the time the people who do talk about all those results, a lot of people are like, that's a bunch of bull. Yeah, there's no way you can make that. It's unrealistic. But taking someone on a journey with you and being that reporter, being that documentator, if that's even a word, along your journey is you're going to build so much more momentum, so much more following and audience and loyalty, that there's endless possibilities of what can be unlocked if you just stay that course rather than just waiting. Oh, I've got to be this way. I've got to fake it till I make it type mentality. Because, you know, if you're faking it till you make it, you're going to be exposed as the person who's faking it, without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, Barb, I actually have really enjoyed this. I've gotten tons of value from it. We're about to hit that hour mark, and you know, I know you've got a busy schedule, full-time entrepreneurship. It's a full-time job in itself. But I appreciate you stopping by. If there's anything you want to kind of end it on, like a final note, that one resonating message that you could possibly leave the viewers today with, what would that be?
Oh, girl.
Well,
I guess in honor of the fact that it's coming up on, or, you know, it's just around the time where I started going through the 15-day challenge. Like, I'm just a regular chick. You're a regular dude. Like, in my life, I've been through working in retail, like Blockbuster, may it rest in peace. Borders Books, may it rest in peace. I worked in investment management, not about it at all. Then I was a teacher. Like, there's no magic thing about me other than the fact that I really wanted to leave my 9-to-5 job. Like, I really had that desire and that belief. That's it. Like, So if you want to make a change in your life, if you are not willing to like just make a TikTok, you are not in enough pain, period. Like when you're in enough pain that you will do anything to get out of it, that's when you've reached that point of constructive desperation that you're willing to take action and change your life. And then when you find that thing that is so painful that you're like, I'll do anything to get out of this, hold on to that and let that motivate you. Like that's what my job was for me. So find that thing that motivates you, not just away from that hell island that you're on, but towards the life of your dreams.
Right.
And then just keep showing up every day. There's no magic bullet or magic pill or anything. It's just a matter of learning and showing up every day. And that's it.
That's it. And you are, I don't want to hype it up or, get all crazy with it, but you're a shining example of really, and that's why I felt so empowered or so grateful that you accepted this interview, because I feel like you are a shining example of how much what can really happen if you put your nose down, you take action, and you keep just showing up every day, doing the thing that you've got to do, doing the thing, just doing the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what it really boils down to. So Barb, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking an hour out of your day to sit down, and I hope all the viewers got tons of value today. I'm going to let her hop off, and I'm going to chat with y'all just a little bit longer. Barb, if you want to stick around, and maybe we can exchange, see if I can't get this recording to you and so on and so forth. All right. Sure. So just hang out for just a couple more minutes for me.
Alrighty.
All right. All right, guys. I hope that everyone got tons of value from that. And I will make sure that Barb drops her group link in the chat or in the comment section, so you can go check her out if you resonated with her, you want to see what she's got going on, see maybe how she can get you over those obstacles. This group is all about value, and I want each and every single one of you to get as much as possible, and find success with your own journey, find success with your own online journey. Because if you're stuck in a situation where, where you either hate your job, you hate the fact that you don't have the time freedom, or you just want more for your life, it's up to you to take action, take massive action, stay consistent. And, Barb was a shining example of that. So I hope you got tons of value. Again, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you drop me heart this, make sure we spread it out to everybody in the group, make sure they can see it too. This recording will stay up for about I'm going to give it a couple days, and then I'm going to move it over to my private 10-day challenge Facebook group. That way, anybody that joins in on the 10-day challenge, you'll have complete unlimited access to it. But again, thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure. And y'all have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.